lot of people are talking about a lot of houses of cards that are coming down, beginning to show signs of coming down, and they are certainly going to in the near future. I want to talk about what I think is the most untalked about part of it. There was this big race to invent these completely fake businesses of AI labs and IPO so that the investors who thought they would be a good idea, who gave them all this money to build these houses of cards, can sell all of that garbage to public markets, to people like you who will buy them on Robinhood, and then they can just walk away with all the money right at the peak before it all comes crashing down. But it's not just AI labs, it's also SpaceX. It's also the fact that SpaceX somehow is also Twitter, and it's also XAI, which built a data center that is still not connected to the power grid, but somehow they're renting it to Anthropic for $1 billion a month to justify their future revenue, but they discounted it, right? So they're not actually getting that money. But Anthropic got to say that they have all this access to compute. Like, it's the House of Cards is very House of Cards, okay? What's going to happen when these things fail? Because the big question a lot of analysts are talking about is there enough money? Is there enough dumb money? Is there enough retail investor cash in the checking account or the credit card to buy all of this equity from investors, to buy OpenAI from the people who thought it would be a good idea, to buy Anthropic from the people who thought it would be a good idea? Do retail investors, do people like you actually have enough money to do that? The answer is no. They absolutely do not. And so getting out first and barely cracking a plus 20% on day one, right? SpaceX demonstrated that, like, this is not going to keep working. The other two are not going to get out, right? Before they did that, they took out $80 billion in debt, right? And before they did that, Google sold new equity, new shares into the market and took about $80 billion in new equity sales, which was the biggest equity sale ever, right? So Google got there first, said, we're going to take a bunch of that money. SpaceX was like, we're going to take a bunch of that money. And now OpenAI and Anthropic are racing to see who can be third place, because there's not going to be a fourth place. This much money doesn't exist in terms of people being able to actually spend it to buy these trash companies from investors. I've said it many times, Google is going to win, but you know who is going to lose harder than anyone else? Oracle, the family that owns the clock app that we're not allowed to say their names, or else everything will disappear that we're talking about, okay? That family currently owes more than double everything they own. Their debt to equity ratio is 2, okay? That's insane. And their debt to EBITDA is 7, okay? The actual money they make is 1/7 of what they owe. And it's going down, okay? It's not going up. And they have committed to spending an incredible amount of money building data centers for these fake House of Cards AI lab companies that are also doomed, okay? So what happens is that all of these little things that oligarchs have been gathering unto themselves during this frothy moment, things like Twitter, things like the clock app, things like Paramount, right? Things like Star Trek, which is now owned by the same oligarchs. Those are the things that will be sold off during the bankruptcies, and it's going to be really interesting to see who picks them up or who can even afford to, and that's going to say a lot about the future of what happens to these things that they have collected.